How does an elite army of 270,000 men simply vanish from a map? In 1942, Adolf Hitler was obsessed with a single coordinate, Stalingrad. On the surface, the German Sixth Army was winning, pushing the Soviets back to the very edge of the Volga River. But while they were fixated on capturing every street and every house, they were blinded to a geographic reality that was shifting miles behind them. To understand the collapse, we have to stop looking at the buildings and start looking at the geometry of the entire Eastern Front. The numbers inside this 30-mile urban corridor were a statistical nightmare. General Friedrich Paulus funneled his strength into a concrete graveyard where the front line wasn't a straight line, but a chaotic mess of sewers and basements. For 5 months, the German advance was measured in inches. The data tells the real story. At the height of the battle, a Soviet soldier arriving in the city had a life expectancy of less than 24 hours. The map wasn't being conquered. It was acting as a sponge, soaking up tens of thousands of lives every single week. Here is the aha moment that flipped the war. The Germans were winning the city, but they were losing the map. While the Sixth Army was bogged down in the ruins, Soviet General Zhukov spotted 2 fatal vulnerabilities on the flanks, lines held by undersupplied allies with no heavy armor. On November 19th, the Soviets launched Operation Uranus. They didn't hit the Germans in the city. Instead, 1.1 million men smashed through the edges, meeting at the Kalak Bridge in just 96 hours. In one swift move, the hunters were locked inside a cauldron, and the hunters became the prey. The result was a total erasure of human life. Trapped in a frozen pocket with temperatures dropping to minus 30 degrees Celsius, the Sixth Army evaporated. Of the 91,000 soldiers who eventually surrendered, only 5,000 ever returned home. By the time the snow melted in 1943, nearly 2 million people had been wiped off the map. Stalingrad remains the ultimate warning for any commander. Your greatest enemy isn't the soldier in your crosshairs, it's the terrain you failed to see. If you were looking at this map in 1942, would you have seen the trap, or would you have been blinded by the prize?